Hey guys, my name is Edmund Arroyo, um, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the career that I myself have decided to choose for in psychology. So first, I just want to show a picture of my wife and I. This was us probably back in, I think, December or January. I'm not exactly sure. This was a little after we'd gotten engaged, so probably around December since we got engaged in September and we waited a couple months for snow. We got married back in April, so we've been married since. She's graduated from BYU Idaho already with a degree in professional writing, and me, well, I'm here still majoring in psychology. Um, so the career that I decided to choose was clinical psychology, and it really depends on kind of how you want to study and the kind of work that you want to do for the education. So if you decide to go with a PhD, which is more on the scientific and research side, it can take 4 to 10 years of graduate work, including 3 to 4 years of supervised practice. It just kind of also depends on how quickly you get through the program. Same thing kind of with the PsyD. It does take a little bit less time. It's only about 4 to 7 years of graduate work, including 3 to 4 years of supervised practice. Um, so it really kind of depends. There are also, for those who are interested in not doing a PhD or a PsyD immediately, there is some work that you can do in the clinical psychology field with just a master's degree, typically within counseling. And there's kind of that debate of whether you could be considered as a psychologist or not, where you would typically be under a clinical psychologist and have your practice or your counseling being supervised as well. Um, However, there are some places that will let you practice on your own. When it comes to the job description, they clinical psychologists, just depending on the route that you decide to go, they engage in psychotherapy, doing mental evaluations, identifying any psychological, emotional, behavioral issues, diagnosing possible disorders. If you decide to actually go the teaching route, you can be a teacher. You, if you are a clinical psychologist, you will also be supervising, typically, counselors under your practice. You can also, if you went with a PhD, you can also be doing research. In relation to my 4 year plan, I'm about halfway done with my degree here at BYU Idaho with getting a bachelor's degree. I still have to do the internship for my undergrad, and I do want to go to University of Texas in Austin, Texas, for my degree in clinical psychology. I'm still trying to work everything out, whether or not that's the exact location that I want to go to. But that is kind of where I'm headed right now. It's just there. And I still have some things I need to figure out, like specifically, I would prefer to get a PsyD, but if a PhD is what I end up doing, that's perfectly fine with me as well. Also, I do still need to reach out to a couple of people just to kind of get a better feel for the clinical psychology field, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. In comparison to chapter 13, I definitely just want to make sure very clear that I don't think that psychology is an easy major. I've been here at BYU Idaho for about 3 years, and just with the undergrad, it's kind of kicked my butt a little bit. So I definitely know it's not an easy field, but it does interest me a lot. And I do plan on wanting to become a professional psychologist. I do find the mind very fascinating, and money's not necessarily the reason why I want to do it, or that I'm looking into getting an HR job, or just think that it'll best prepare me. I just feel like it's the route that I want to go and what interests me the most. Why psychology? Kind of like I just said, it's what interests me the most. Um, I came to BYU Idaho already knowing that I wanted to go down the psychology field. Um, Originally, I planned on doing or wanting to be a psychiatrist instead of a psychologist, which is a little different. But I realized very quickly that if it came down to biology and chemistry, all of the prerequisites for med school, I probably would not have done so well, or at least as well as I would have liked to. So clinical psychology is still something that I find very fascinating. I've done therapy myself, and I feel like it's something that we need. There are a lot of people out there who just get the medication from psychiatrists and don't do therapy, that need it. And so I feel like it's a field that just definitely needs, that people need a lot of help in. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Thank you very much for listening. I think I went over the time. Hopefully I don't get docked for that, but thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.